Good morning. Please be seated. I'd like to welcome everyone to the organizational meeting for the 2024 through 2026 Calumet County Board of Supervisors. We have several items to go through this morning, but I have a couple announcements first. The first one is every month we have resolutions and ordinances that are put on the desk for signature. They always start down on this end. I ask that when they get to you, if you don't have to sign, just please keep passing them so that when we get to them, I have them. Okay? There's also a clipboard going around for the WCA lodging for the September conference. We have to reserve those rooms May 1st, so if you think you are possibly want to go, please put your name down because we can cancel later, but we cannot reserve later. So that's coming around as well. The drawers in your desk don't get locked, so please don't leave anything of value in them. You can keep pens, pencils, things like that, but don't keep anything of value. The voting tablets get left on your desk at the end. Your iPads go home, but please leave those. And then if you need to step away, if you would mark yourself out, just so that we know, so if we come to a vote and you're not here, that you're marked out. And if you forget, I'll try to catch you as you go out. And then the only other thing is I ask you to have patience today. I'm running the meeting and our voting system, and I've not had any amendments up to this point, and I know there's going to be a lot today, so just please have patience with me. So let's start our business. As I read the certificate of membership, please rise and give a brief introduction when I get to your district, and then you can be seated. I, Beth Hauser, County Clerk of Calumet County, Wisconsin, do hereby certify that the following is a true and correct list of members of the County Board of Supervisors of Calumet County for a term beginning today and ending April 21st, 2026. As was certified by the County Board of Canvassers of Calumet County, Wisconsin on April 8th, 2024. District 1, City of Appleton, Ward 44, Andy Cleveland.
Hi, Andy Cleveland. This is my second term, and I live very northwest corner of Calumet County. So, welcome to everyone that is here. Congratulations to everyone that came back.
District 2, City of Appleton, Ward 25 is currently vacant. District 3, City of Appleton, Ward 13, Emily Voigt.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily Voigt. This is my third term on the county board. I also live not far from Andy. And welcome everyone new, and good to see everyone else come back.
District 4, Village of Harrison, Ward 4, City of Appleton, Ward 45, and City of Menasha, Ward 14, Matthew Booty.
Morning, everybody.
District 5, Village of Harrison, Ward 5, and City of Appleton, Wards 14 and 46, Dave Elliott. District 6, Village of Harrison, Ward 6, and City of Appleton, Ward 15, Pat Latour.
Morning, Pat Latour, first term. Nice to see everybody.
District 7, Village of Harrison, Ward 3, and Ward 7, Pete Steer.
Morning, May 3rd. Congratulations.
District 8, Village of Harrison, Ward 8, City of Menasha, Wards 15 and 16, Kathleen Tunis. District 9, Village of Harrison, Wards 9 and 13, and City of Appleton, Ward 47, Ann Macheski. District 10, Village of Harrison, Wards 10 and 11, Joe Miller.
Good morning. My eighth term, so west of Sherwood, going up towards Northwood, whatever. Thank you. Welcome.
District 11, Village of Sherwood, Wards 3 through 5, James Lowy. Thank you. District 12, Town of Woodville, Village of Harrison, Ward 12, Village of Sherwood, Ward 1, and City of Kaukauna, Ward 12, Nick Kessler. District 13, Town of Brillion, Wards 1 and 2, City of Brillion, Wards 1 and 5, Simeon Johnston. District 14, City of Brillion, Wards 2 through 4, Joan Pagel Holshu. District 15, Town of Chilton, Ward 3, Town of Rantoul, Village of Hilbert, Village of Potter, and City of Brillion, Ward 6, Mary Schwellenberg.
Thank you. I was appointed in 2011, and I'd like to welcome all the new faces.
District 16, Town of Chilton, Ward 2, Town of Stockbridge, Ward 1, Village of Harrison, Ward 14, Village of Sherwood, Ward 2, and Village of Stockbridge, Buzz Lochran.
Good morning, everyone. Buzz Lochran. I am from Sherwood. I have the southern part of Sherwood, Lake Shore, all the way to Stockbridge, and Apple Village.
District 17, Town of Brothertown, Town of Chilton, Ward 1, and Town of Stockbridge, Ward 2, Mike Huffberger.
Good morning, I live between Stockbridge and Tilton. And I think that is probably my fourth term that I'm listening to some of these people.
District 18, City of Chilton, Wards 1, 2, and 5, Alice Connors.
Hi, I'm Alice Connors. Welcome, everyone. I've been on the board 42 years.
She gets the award. District 19, Town of Charlestown, and City of Chilton, Wards 3 and 4, Ronald Dietrich.
Good morning, everyone. I've been on the board since 2011. I look forward to working with all the new people. It's kind of exciting, and anything I can do to help, just let me know.
District 20, City of New Holstein, Wards 1, 2, 4, and 5, Brian Kolb.
Hi, I'm Brian Cole. Newly elected for District 20. This is my first term.
And last but not least, District 21, Town of New Holstein, City of Kiel, Ward 7, and City of New Holstein, Ward 3, Ty Stuckman.
Howdy. And I look forward to working with you guys.
All right, I would ask the entire board to stand, please. And if it's easier for you, if you want to hold your oath of office, you can. And if you would raise your right hands, please. I state your name. Having been elected to the office of but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof, swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. Congratulations. If you would each sign your official oath, and then you can just leave it at your desk, and I will pick it up after the meeting. So just another quick announcement. When you want to speak, make sure that you turn your microphone on. You just have to push the push button very lightly. When the green light comes on, then it's on. And then make sure you turn it off after you're done speaking. I should also point out the certificate of election that's at your desk, that is yours to keep. If you would stand and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, now I would ask you to please sign in for roll call. And if you have any issues, talk to the supervisor next to you. Buzz, could you please mark yours? Thank you. We have 20 present, 1 not absent, vacant, thank you. So we will move forward. Next, we have the rules of county board, and I'm actually going to let Administrator Romanesco take over from here.
I had to get to the right page. Just so everyone knows, we did meet with the new supervisors and had a brief orientation and covered the rules of order, very high level, and suggested that they review those as well. There were a few changes since the board last acted on their rules. I will just briefly draw your attention to those areas and then assume that everybody had reviewed them. Go ahead.
And I should note, there is a motion by Supervisor Booty and a second by Supervisor Steer to adopt the rules of county board, which is resolution 2024-01, so we can now discuss.
Thanks. On page 10 of your packet, there is a strikeout and a comment in the margin, and that is regarding the virtual meetings. So it deletes the requirement that we have it on every agenda, and it refers you to the same Rule 5, number 3 on page 9, as the continuing rule that it is at the discretion of the chair of the board or the committee or commission as appropriate. So it allows for virtual meetings, but it does not require it at every meeting that we currently are doing. On page 18, a minor administrative update to the rules. I'm not. I'm doing it from the board packet. Could be page 14 of the rules themselves if you're on the rules, otherwise it's page 18 if you're on your board packet. Which one, I don't know what's easier. It's easier for me to use the board packet because I don't have the rules separate. Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm supposed to see. Okay. With the purchase of the Appleton office on South Oneida Street, we updated to include the Health and Human Services Board of the Appleton office to be responsible for the building and property. Page 20 of the rules, page 24 of the board packet. Item C, to add under the blue section that includes all out-of-state travel for county board supervisors that has not been budgeted or funded through an outside source.
Supervisor Connors?
With regard to that number C, all travel, I would like to just strike that completely. It's a very old rule that we had and very seldom used, and if we do have to go out of state travel, it's usually budgeted. So I would like to strike that whole sentence, out of state travel.
The entire item C?
Pardon?
The entire item C?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so if I could have, I have the motion. Alice, could you hit motion, please? If it works.
Where do I find that?
It's from the original motion, so if it doesn't work,
It's not working.
okay.
It doesn't say anything about a motion on here. Yeah.
There's still the other motion.
Hmm?
There's the other motion, yeah.
It's actually not allowing you to make a motion because you're still in here as the chair, so I apologize. I will write it down. You want to make the motion, Emma?
Sure, I
Okay.
will make that motion for Alice.
And it's not letting me do it either. I will just mark it down on my tab, so.
Thank you.
So I have a motion by Connors, second by Voight,
Yes.
to strike item C on the top of page 20. Is there any discussion? Supervisor Stuckman?
So then what if it's not budgeted? Say there is travel, that's, 'cause you said most of it is budgeted today. What if something comes up and it's not in the budget, then how is it approved?
According to your policy, if it's an unbudgeted item that's not funded by another source, we'd have to come back and ask for the funds. So it would have to be approved anyway.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote on Amendment 1, if you give me just a moment. And that is to strike item C on the top of page 20 of the rules. Joan, are you voting? Oh, you're using the iPad. You have to use the tablet, the other tablet for voting.
Yeah, I know.
Oh. All right, we have 20 ayes, 1 vacant, so the motion to amend has been adopted.
All right, I'm just gonna do a quick flip through here.
And we're back to the main motion.
On the bottom of page 29 of the rules, page 33 of your board packet. Updated to reflect the Department of Administration instead of identifying the individual departments. So previously, before we had a Department of Administration, we identified those departments separately. So this was just a cleanup because Department of Administration includes economic development, emergency management, and human resources.
Right?
Super.
I have a change I'd like to put on the roll on page 25.
Alice, can you turn your microphone on? Your microphone.
Sorry. Page 25, with regard to, let me get there, resolution and ordinances
Are you on 25 of the packet or 25 of the rules?
of the rules that was sent to us in our packet, okay? I would like to change, under B, it says, resolution and ordinances presented for consideration at any meeting must be in writing and bear the signatures of at least 2 supervisors offering the same. I would like to delete after the writing and bear the signatures of at least 2 supervisors offering the same. That way, this goes through the committees like all other resolutions do go through the committee. If there is an emergency that we need a resolution quickly, we can add, we can have an emergency meeting of that particular committee. This just makes everything going through committee like it should do.
Alice, what letter was that on the page?
That would be on letter B, under resolution, and under 17, Rule 17,
All right, so one more time, your amendment?
is to strike and bear the signature of at least 2 supervisories offering the same.
Okay.
Don't want 2 signatures?
No, because it would be the signatures of the committees, the signature, majority signature of the committees. It would go through
Alice, you can
committee.
turn your microphone off now. So if I can read it, Alice, and you can tell me if that's the correct interpretation before you get this second, or while Beth's working on that. So resolutions and ordinances presented for consideration at any meeting must be in writing and bear the signatures of the majority of that committee. Everything else would have been deleted in that sentence.
Okay, so I have a motion by Supervisor Connors. Which can I put on here? So I have a motion, is there a second? Thank you.
It'll come back.
Yeah, there's a little lag before it gets to your. There it is.
See.
All right, we have a couple requests to speak. Supervisor Booty, you're up first.
Thank you very much. As part of this proposed amendment to the rules, should we not also adjust Rule 17, Part A, to strike out the sentence saying resolutions and ordinances not presented by a committee may be referred by the chair to a committee of the board at such a time, and so forth, and strike out the rest of that entire sentence? It just seems kind of like that's not pertinent anymore if we can't have resolutions come before the board not from a committee. And I am not making a suggestion at this time, but just pointing out that maybe that would like to be a thing that also is looked at. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Booty. Supervisor Holshoe?
Thank you. Okay, if I understand this correctly, it means everything has to go through committee, correct?
Yes?
Well, I thought that there was a stipulation in there that if more than one person wanted to bring something to the board without going through committee, they could. And I'm just curious as to why we would want to change that.
You can respond, Alice.
I would just say, because all other resolutions and ordinances go through the proper channels of the committee, and the committee discusses this particular resolution and ordinance, and then brings it to the board for adoption. That's the reason.
Well, I disagree with that, because if we are a county board and two or more of us come together and say we would like to present something out of committee, that we should have that right.
Okay. Thank you. Supervisor Dietrich?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I understand this correctly, if we eliminate the wording that basically everything has to go through committee. I'm concerned about this for a couple reasons, but basically, if you have a committee that then decides not to pass it on to the board or votes negative, it may not get to the board. I'm not sure how that works, and maybe Corp Counsel can help me out with that. If something goes to the committee and the committee decides not to pass it on to the board, it might not get to the board. That's a concern to me, which is kind of what another supervisor has indicated. The second thing is the concern that Supervisor Connors brought up about having everything go through committee is not violated by paragraph B, because paragraph A allows the chairman of the board to pass it to the committee. In other words, Mary and I bring something to the board, did not go through committee, the chair can move that to committee for review before it comes back to the board. So I think the current rules A and B, or the current paragraphs A and B, cover that situation, but allows also for the opportunity for something to come before the board that for whatever reason may not get through a committee. So I think it's a good safeguard for issues to come before the full board. That's my opinion. So I'm not going to support the amendment.
Thank you, Supervisor Dietrich. Supervisor Hoffberger.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I hate to disparage any of the new people here, but oftentimes people will find out that you're on the county board and they'll say, oh, they'll talk about that county board meeting. And I invariably end up saying, that's probably the least important meeting of the month, because it's the committee meetings where we discuss something and we research stuff and we talk about stuff. So I like the idea of stuff going through the county, the committees, because that's where the research goes on. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Steer.
Thank you. I've got mixed feelings with this also, because I can recall several years ago, way back, when I was first on the board, that we had admin meetings and some things did not get passed on and did not make it to the full county board, and that's a concern. I'm not sure I can support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Steer. Okay. A little patience. We're reviewing the comments that were made regarding paragraphs A and B. Do you want to?
Yeah, that's what I would say. Okay, so, Ron had, Supervisor Dietrich, sorry, had two statements. One he wanted clarified from Corporation Counsel, and stated that if the amendment would pass and everything would go through a committee and committee didn't pass on to the full board, it would never get to the board. and that's correct. That was your first question.
Yes, thank you.
The second question, or the second comment, was that based on A, the chair could still refer a resolution or ordinance that was presented by two supervisors to a committee based on A. So my interpretation is a little conflicted with the county administrator, because one, we've never done that before, but two, that there's nothing in A that prevents the chair from doing that, but we've never done that before. So I would say that could happen. However, past practices, we've never done that before. So my suggestion is, if that is what the board would want to do, we need to clarify A to allow that to occur. Because typically, what we have done for resolutions and ordinances not presented by a committee, that has typically been when an outside entity has wanted a resolution to pass. So for example,
If Barron County wants you to support something on the state law change, they refer a resolution for your consideration, and the board chair, thank you, will typically refer that to the appropriate committee.
like Health and Human Services, and then Health and Human Services considers it and then passes it on to the full board. Those are the types of things that will come to the full board. The chair looks at it and says, I'm going to refer it to Health and Human Services. It's not when two board members put something to the full board and then the chair sends it to a committee. If that's what the full board wants to do, I suggest you clean up some language to allow that, because we've never done that before. I just think that because the county administrator and myself are looking at it differently, that means it can be interpreted differently. So you need to clean it up.
Do you want me to tell them how I interpret it?
Sure. Share, would you?
So, I think the reason it becomes, let's say, vague or not clear,
Ambiguous.
unclear, ambiguous, thank you, would be that you specify in the second portion of it, on item B, that any two supervisors can bring a resolution forward. So my interpretation of that has always been that that comes before the board regardless. It's as if you wanted a committee, or to replace a committee, you're allowing two people to bring it forward so the chair doesn't have the discretion to move it out. And I believe that because it comes after item A. So to make sense, you would have had the two supervisor item first and then allow the chair to remove it and refer it to a committee. So I think that's why Kimberly and I are in different places on it. So it's probably a good idea for you to tell us what you want it to be.
Supervisor Dietrich.
Well, thank you for that clarification, Corp Counsel. I think it's enlightening, and I also believe that the difference of opinion between you and the administrator is valid. However, I still stand that we need to have an avenue other than purely coming through committee to get things to the full board. And again, if we need to clarify the language to somehow validate the chairs being able to then pass it to committee, that's okay with me, because the language says if you pass it to the committee, they have 90 days to come back. So it will eventually come back, regardless of what the committee does. So if we can clean up the language to allow that to happen, I think both parties will be happy, because it'll be forced to go through committee, and there's an avenue for two supervisors to bring something forward. So I'm totally in concurrence, but I'm not clever enough to figure out what that language would be.
We'll help you with that, but it'll have to be on the fly here in a little bit.
Thank you, Supervisor Dietrich. Supervisor Booty.
Thanks. So I guess this is when I get to say, I've been here on the board for a while, and I remember when we did something. So back in sometime between 2010 and 2012, we did have an instance where two county board supervisors had brought something to the floor. And and it was then sent to a committee again, but that was the same committee that had refused to bring it to the board in the first place. That is why, at that point, we had changed Rule 17A to add the 90 days, so that it would have to come back to the county board for action, even if it was not, even if the committee otherwise would not have, voted on it and brought it to the county board, put on the agenda. So that is why that is in there.
Right.
Rarely say, I was right over Romanesco.
Right. Right.
Thank you, Matthew
So
Booty.
it has happened in the past, and that is why it is there.
Right.
That's why I was saying if we were going to strike the part in Section B, we should also strike the part in Section A about that. Now, I'm not speaking to the merits of the motion in of itself. I'm just saying if we do one, we should also do the other, because that would then clear up the possible confusion in there. But if we don't do one, then we don't have to do the other. And so
Right.
that's just what I'm saying based on my experience in the before times. Thanks.
Okay, thank you Supervisor Booty. Supervisor Steer.
Thank you. I just want to agree with Matthew. I recall it was the previous administrator.
Right.
Some things did not get passed on like they should have. And that's why we got what we got. I do not want to take away some supervisor's opportunity to put something forward because it got buried. Okay. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
All right, is there any other discussion regarding this amendment? Want to read the amendment, or should I read the amendment? Okay.
This is how the new one.
Okay, so the amendment would actually, Supervisor Hoffberger.
I apologize. I'm not crystal clear, though, in my mind what we're about to vote on. I would appreciate if you could articulate that once again.
Yep,
Thank you.
that's what I was going to do. So, the amendment would state, resolutions and ordinances presented for consideration at any meeting must be in writing by a committee and bear the signatures of a majority of the committee. And then the remaining stays the same. Okay. Any other discussion? All right. If you would please mark your ballot. All right, the amendment motion fails. Somewhere on here. There were 4 ayes, 16 nays, and 1 vacant, so the motion fails, and we will go back to the original motion. Supervisor Voigt?
Hello, thank you. I would like to talk about page 9 in our resolution adopting rules of county board, or page 5. It's Rule 5, meetings, going down to B. So that would actually be on page 12 or page 8, depending on which which draft you're looking at, if you're looking at your iPad or if you have the paper ballot, the paper agenda. I would like to discuss again.
Excuse me, Emily, or
Oh.
Supervisor Voigt.
Yes.
What is the page number of the rule?
The page number of the rule is 8, or if you're on your iPad, page 12.
But it's actually page 8 of the rules. Thank you.
Yes. Does that clarify?
Yes.
Thank you. And it's B, county board meetings, and then going down to 1D, all meetings shall begin at 9 a.m. from the annual meeting through April and 7 p.m. through September. I would like to change this and have all meetings at the same time year-round so that it is better for people that have full-time jobs to be able to attend county board meetings year-round. And I know we discussed this 2 years ago. I know this gets discussed a lot. I know this is a sensitive topic. So I guess I want to make a motion to change it to all county board meetings shall begin at 6 p.m. year-round, not changing it up from April to May or May through September. As I stated last time, 2 years ago, Winnebago County also does this. They have their meetings at the same time year-round. Outagamie County, which I just recently attended one of their meetings, meets at 7 p.m. year-round. I believe Winnebago meets at 6. I feel 6 p.m. year-round would allow for those of us who have full-time positions to be able to serve. And that's my motion, to change the time of our county board meetings. And committee meetings could still be decided by the committee as to what time and dates that they meet.
All right, do I have a second to that motion?
So I guess I have to push motion.
Second.
Oh, that's all right. All right, I have a motion by Supervisor Voigt and actually have a second by Supervisor Pagel-Holschuh to amend B, county board meetings under section D, that all county board meetings shall begin at 6 p.m. year-round.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Let's see. Supervisor Booty.
Thank you. I guess I just want to be clear here. Since B1A and B1B come before that rule,
Yes.
I just want to make sure that those seem like they come before that rule, and so therefore they would still be applicable on those certain dates. Meanwhile, D would affect every other meeting time. So if that is not the intent of the motion, you might want to
Okay, then may I
address
clarify my motion?
1 and B,
Just wait, please.
Sorry.
but otherwise, yeah, I mean, we still are going to have our
Okay,
organization and budget meetings at different times.
thank you. Do you want to clarify that
Yes,
motion?
then for all full county board meetings to meet at 6 p.m.
Does that include the organizational meeting and the annual meeting, or just
No.
regular board meetings? Sorry. Does that include the organizational meeting and the annual meeting, or just regular board meetings?
All of them.
Okay.
Okay, so that changes A under county board meetings. The organizational meeting of the county board shall be held on the third Tuesday in April, commencing at 6 p.m. in even-numbered years. And then it changes B, the annual meeting shall be held on the last Monday of October or the first Monday of November of each year, commencing at 6 p.m. And then it changes D, that all full county board meetings shall begin at 6 PM year-round.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you.
Yep. Supervisor Booty, did you have any other?
I understand the intent. I like the intent. It's just sometimes we get into the weeds and we spend a long time talking about rules like this, and I know it works out, but I'd really rather not stick around here until midnight or so sometimes for these meetings when we're organizing things. I mean, like today, we're going to come back later in the afternoon to get our committee assignments. If we had a meeting at 6 o'clock in the evening, we might not get committee assignments until, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know that is, I don't think that's preferable. I think the reason we have the organizational meeting always in the morning is so that we have the time to argue these fine little nitpicky points about meeting times and rules, and then get committee assignments. So I like a part of the amendment. I don't like a part of the amendment. Thanks.
Thank you, Supervisor Booty. Supervisor Lochran.
I'm all for changing it to once all year, except for maybe this getting together meeting. I think this should stay in the morning for the same reason Mr. Booty said. But I am for an earlier, I would rather like to see it around 4 o'clock. And that way everybody that's here doesn't have to go home, come back, and then we're just the ones coming in at 4 o'clock. That's all I got.
Are you making a motion, Supervisor Lochran?
I would like to make a motion for 4 o'clock, yes.
And is that changing everything? So
Yes.
the organizational, the annual, and every other meeting?
Correct. I would like the organizational to stay at its same time, the morning. Budget too, yes, and the budget.
You said the annual meeting also at 9, the budget meeting?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so the organizational meeting would stay at 9 AM, the annual meeting would also stay at 9 AM, and then all other meetings would be at 4 PM.
Thank you.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay, I have to enter it, so just give me 1 second.
We can't amend an amendment. I mean, we can't amend after.
Oh, okay.
Just a reminder that that's the amendment to the amendment, and there isn't any after that, so it would have to be voted one way or the other. You can't make an amendment to the amendment to the amendment. It's been tried.
All right, it'll switch over in a moment. Supervisor Lochran, can you make that motion? Does it work on your tablet to make the motion? Okay, and then I had a second by Supervisor Steer. Okay. All right. Here we go. Do we have any discussion regarding the amendment to the amendment? Okay. And do you want me to repeat the amendment to the amendment? Annual meeting, 9 AM, organizational meeting, 9 AM, all other county board meetings start at 4 PM. Supervisor Tunis.
Oops, thank you. I'm okay with the 6 PM because I would like to give the opportunity to younger board members to be able to come to the meetings. But the 4 p.m. I'm concerned about, and the reason is because I have to eat my supper. And I don't want to eat before 4 o'clock. Or actually, to get here, I would have to eat quite early. And if the meetings go long, that would mean that I'd have, I could be eating at 10 o'clock, and I can't do that. So that's why my concern is the 4 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Schwallenberg?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree. I could go with the 6 o'clock, the 4 o'clock. I'm looking at if you have children, grandchildren. I happen to be a caregiver. That 4 o'clock is when kids come home from school during the school year. And the same thing with feeding them supper at night. So I would agree with the 6, but not the 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Hoffberger?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to concur with Supervisor Logren's 4 o'clock. I recently was talked to by a constituent, and some in the course of discussion came up about, used to be that it seemed that the popular thing was to have all evening meetings so more people could attend. Well, then I said, well, you know what, I've been here for a number of years and it doesn't make any difference at all. There's not any more people at night than there is at daytime. There's about as many as we have right now, none. It is, though, much more inconvenient for staff, and our staff people that come to our meetings when they have to come at night, I'm assuming they get comp time, so it's more of a hassle for us. I like the idea of the 4 o'clock time because, as she said, it was brought to me by a constituent, she said, well, then you could, at least people at work, they can get out, they don't have to take time to go there and come back. They can be finished off their last hour or two of the day. So, frankly, obviously I'm retired. I can go either one, but in my opinion, the 4 o'clock is the most satisfactory for us as a county board. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Pagel-Holshoe?
Is his assumption true? Will they get comp time?
No.
We're salary.
That's what I was thinking, but okay, thank you.
All right, is there any other discussion regarding the amendment to the amendment? All right, so what we're voting on is organizational meeting 9, annual meeting 9 o'clock, and all other meetings would start at 4 p.m. Please vote your ballot. All right, that passed by a majority vote. There were 12 yes, 8 nays, and 1 vacant. So now it goes back to
I'm gonna screw up my golfing.
it goes back to the amendment. Okay. Which, okay. This is confusing.
That's why you don't allow.
Yes. All right, I know how to read this now. Okay, so the amendment to the amendment amended your motion to make the organizational meeting at 9, the annual meeting at 9, and all other meetings at 4 p.m. So Supervisor Voigt.
All right, I don't know if this is possible to do this, but and I should know this after having been on my 3rd term, but I would be willing to still, I guess, make organizational meetings at 9 a.m., annual meetings for the budget at 9 a.m., and then all other meetings at 6 p.m. I can't do that.
You can't do that.
Okay. All right, never mind.
Any other discussion regarding the amendment motion? Yours was amended, so now you,
Right. Correct.
correct. Did everybody understand that? So you're voting on the amended motion, which is 9 a.m. organizational and annual, all others start at 4. If you don't like that amendment, you can vote against it, and then another motion can be made to change the time. Okay, correct? Okay, so, please. Oh, hold on.
So you're,
So-
are we voting on it again?
Yes,
Does this get voted on yet?
Yes. Anyone?
Yes, so
You're-
it's
you're
done.
back to-
So that's what the meetings
Yeah.
become.
Right, because he. the
Because
amendment won
hers
as the
was,
majority.
right, yes.
so. the
Hers is
origi-
done. Hers got amended.
But we amended the
Then we have
amendment.
to vote on the amended, don't we?
No, hers got amended. Hers got changed.
Right.
First got changed, but then you have to go back to the
You still have to,
original. You
because,
have to go back to the original.
yeah, you have to go back to the original motion like you always do.
Right.
Okay.
I said it seems redundant, but when you have an amendment to an amendment, you amended hers, and then you
Yes.
go back to the, now you're at the, so they're voting basically on the same.
Okay, it doesn't, okay.
Yep.
It will
All
be
right,
voted
so I do still have, Supervisor Voigt, did you have any other comments?
So if I'm understanding what our council said, we can come back to this. I know, yes, that passed, but the motion,
I think we're gonna do a little checking here.
okay. If possible, then I would be wanting to change, like make a new motion,
Which you can't right now.
but I can't now.
Nope. Do you want me to take the next speaker while you're?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. Supervisor Holsche, did you have a comment? Okay.
That doesn't make any sense. I just think it fails.
An amendment.
You can't.
Far enough away. An amendment to the amendment can be required a majority vote, even if the motion to be amended requires. Well, that's not that.
Why is it majority?
Hmm? So here you go, here's the main motion.
Yeah,
Amend the main motion.
yeah.
Process and vote on amendment before the main motion. Ways to amend the motion. So if you amend, it does.
Because they amended it to 4, and now they all have to vote on that motion now before PM.
It would be,
I think you should vote on that.
but if you're amending an amendment, you have to go back and finish the
Okay.
first.
I don't believe so.
It's not gonna change,
Mm-hmm.
but you,
We haven't amended an amendment in you know how long.
you know, but even if you amend the main motion.
Thank you for your
you're voting on
patience.
that one time.
Right.
But if you have a second amendment, you amended the amendment. But you're saying it's done.
Right. I don't think so. Well,
Because that motion doesn't go away. It takes you back to the motion that you have to vote on.
That was wrong once ago. Which I'm still not sure.
seriously, I
think. Yes, I've got it. Serious amendments to the main motion. One subject to none unless amendments meet the standard. Yes, confirm amendments to turn amendment. During the session, decide a question on main motion ruling. Yep.
And our rules here, it says here.
But the question is whether or not we need to vote on that motion again. I don't think it comes back.
Okay, well then say that, so that we can move on.
Okay, you can vote on Supervisor Voigt's motion. The amended.
Which was amended, so it's, excuse me? You cannot, not right now. So the amendment to the amendment is 9 a.m. organizational, 9 a.m. annual, all other meetings start at 4 p.m. If you don't like the amendment to the amendment, vote against it, and then I believe you can bring back another motion to change the time. Okay? So please mark your ballots. Yep, it's the organizational meeting at 9, annual meeting at 9, all other county board meetings start at 4 p.m. That's what you're voting on.
Yes, correct.
If you want it, yes. If you don't, no. Supervisor Steer, if you would vote. Supervisor Hoffberger. All right, that amendment motion that was amended failed. 10 yes, 10 no, and 1
I don't think anybody knew what
vacant.
they were voting on. Okay.
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah, this was mine that we just voted on. I thought we were voting on. Yeah, I thought you said fourth one.
So so Emily's was the original motion, and then we voted on Buzz's that changed it to 4 p.m. So then you have to go back and you have to vote on the amended amendment. Right, I can't go back and change that at this point. That's the original motion. I know, I'm sorry. So, but the motion failed.
So now we're back to square one, and now we can make a new motion?
Correct.
Okay.
But you have to wait to be called in.
All right. I can't make it go faster.
Slight delay.
We're back to the rules of county board. It'll come up shortly, hopefully. No. All right, Supervisor Voigt, sorry.
It's Super Voigt works too. Thank you. Okay, so I am going to make a new motion to change county board meetings, having organizational meetings being held at 9 a.m., so keeping 1A the same, 1B the same, and then 1D 6 p.m. That is my motion.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm so sorry, but I think people seem to like that 9 for organizational. They liked 9 for the budget, so that gave us more time. But
Okay.
it seemed like a lot of people liked the 6 p.m. so that, you know, you could eat your dinner, you could take care of your kids or grandkids.
okay. Before going on, I have to enter it. Before I enter it, do we have a second to that motion? No, those are old. Okay. It's not gonna come up yet. I have to enter it, but I'm
Yep.
just asking before, if I don't wanna enter it if there's no second. So,
Kathleen, you second. Kathleen, raise your hand.
we're past that. All right, so Emily's got her motion in. Emily, is this your motion now for, or was this an old one?
My motion is
Okay. Yeah. Nope, you don't have to, no, I'm just, hold on. Yeah, that's, yeah. There's a lag, so I get a little confused. So this amendment is, all meetings other than the annual and the organizational shall begin at 6 p.m. The annual and organizational stay at 9 a.m. Yes, so once it goes over, I need you to put your motion in. Once, okay, and then Supervisor Tunis, if you would second. Thank you, and it should pop over soon. It's always slow. All right, do we have any discussion on this amendment motion? All right, seeing no discussion, we are going to vote on the amendment. 6 p.m. for all meetings other than annual and organizational, and those stay at 9 a.m. So please vote your ballot. Motion to amend passed, 15 yes, 5 no, 1 vacant. And then we go back to the rules of order main motion.
There were a few other changes. Rules, page 32. Board packet, page 36. Land and Water Conservation Committee, updated to reflect the change in statute.
I have a request to speak. Supervisor Schwallenberg, did you have a request to speak?
No, I wanted to amend part of the rules, or
You wanna
change
make an
part of the
amendment?
rules. Do you want me to do it now, or wait until Todd is done explaining?
That's the original motion on the rules.
No, I'm looking at 3 different, from
We
what
want
I
the
can see,
page
it's on
number of the
page
rules.
19, it's Rule 11, Duties of the Chair of the Board. Under E, where it says the chair shall be an ex officio member of all committees, boards, and commissions, but may vote and count toward the quorum only in the absence of a member of the committee. I would like to add, if the chair is not available to make a quorum, the vice chair may vote and count towards a quorum only in the absence of a member of the committee. And then it will also make an amendment to the rule, to the duties of the vice chair. Do you want me to state that now too, or? Page 19, I think, on our pack is where it is.
Yep, it's actually page 15 of the rules for people following
And
that.
I'm on an email here, so.
Okay. All right, and then you're going to change duties of the vice chair.
Right. Add E, that if the chair is not available to make a quorum on a committee, board, or commission, the vice chair may vote and count toward the quorum only in the absence of a member of the committee. It says also see rule, yeah, it goes back to rule 11. The reasoning for this is because people may get sick, have jobs, or for some reason or other can't make a committee meeting, and we don't know till the committee meets that we don't have a quorum, we can't have a meeting. Luckily, the last term, our chair lived a couple blocks away from the courthouse, but that may not always be the case. And it's not, the two of them can't be together. You can't have a chair and vice chair. It's just one or the other. Okay, any questions?
Why do I have a motion?
Would-
I've got 19, I think. Duties of the chair. On your iPad. Yeah, there's too many.
Page 17 of the rules.
Okay. Would be under the duties of the chair and the vice chair.
Mary, can you try to make a motion on that? This thing is being,
To amend?
We'll let you make a motion.
Oh, okay, I make a motion to amend?
no, hit your
No.
motion.
Oh, I hit my motion button. Okay, geez. Sorry.
Is there a second to that motion? We have a second by Supervisor Booty. Oh, you want to do that? All right. All right, so the language change is in Rule 11, duties of the chair of the board, we're going to add at the end of E, if the chair is not available to make a quorum, the vice chair may vote and count toward the quorum only in the absence of a member of the committee. Also see Rule 12, duties of the vice chair of the board, paragraph E. And then we're going down to duties of the vice chair E. If the chair is not available to make a quorum on a committee, board, or commission, the vice chair may vote and count toward the quorum only in the absence of a member of the committee. And then also see the rule prior, the Rule 11, duties of the chair of the board. And Supervisor Hoffberger?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I certainly agree with Supervisor Mary Schwallenberg. I've only had to use it once, and it was just like she said, somebody was sick. We didn't know about it until we're standing around, sitting on the table. We did have some business we did want to get done, and I was able to call Alice, and she came over. I think we have two of those options, all the more. It's just a real good idea, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Hoffberger. Supervisor Booty?
Thank you. I can appreciate the logistical flexibility in having the vice chair be able to do this. However, the vice chair is already a member of certain committees. The reason I think that we've given the chair this ability is because they are an ex officio member. The chair, other than the Public Safety Committee, does not serve on any other committees. And so I'm a little conflicted about extending this ex officio member status to a vice chair also, since vice chair serves on various other committees. So, not sure what I think about that exactly. If anyone wants to change my mind on that or help lead me in a direction, I'd really appreciate that. Thanks.
Supervisor Schwallenberg?
Granted, I agree with you, that does happen with the vice chair being part of other committees, but we do have 2 vice chairs. I would go with the assumption that it's for both, or do we have to state first and second? It just says vice chair, so you do have 2 options. Unless both of you are on the same committee then too. It doesn't happen real often, but lately it seems like it has, so, but at least the committees I'm on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Supervisor Voigt?
Thank you. I completely understand and I am in support of this, but we also still have it in the rules that if a member of a committee cannot attend for valid reasons according to the chair of said committee, this has happened to me before. I think it was my son, came down with a really nasty case of something, I won't say what, and I was not able to attend my Land and Water Committee meeting. So I as soon as I possibly could, I contacted Chair Huffberger and our staff and let them know, and they allowed me to attend virtually. So this would just be like just another safeguard just in case, because sometimes there are emergencies where you cannot call. What if you're in a car accident, or what if you end up in the emergency room, and you don't have time to call to make that change. So I think while we have that option of virtual attendance, if the chair of said committee has agreed that your reason for not attending in person is valid, this would give just one more, way to not have to cancel a meeting last minute. So I am in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Voigt. Is there any other discussion regarding this amendment? Do you need it read to you one more time before we vote? Can I have that back? All right, Rule 11, duties of the chair of the board, we're adding in paragraph E at the end. If the chair is not available to make a quorum, the vice chair may vote and count toward the quorum only in the absence of a member of the committee. Also see Rule 12, duties of the chair of the board, paragraph E, which we're going to go to now. You're going to add E. If the chair is not available to make a quorum on a committee, board, or commission, the vice chair may vote and count towards the quorum only in the absence of a member of the committee. Also see Rule 11, duties of the chair of the board. Supervisor Holschuh?
I believe the question was, is the second one included, the second vice chair included? Is it or is it not? No.
It is not.
Thank you.
Welcome. Seeing no other requests to speak, we'll vote on that amendment. Please mark your ballots. Motion was adopted, 18 yes, 2 no, 1 vacant. And we'll go back to the rules of order.
I'm just going to continue to point out the few minor edits that are remaining. On the page 36 of the rules, page 40 of your packet, East Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission. The change there indicates that the mayor of the largest city in the member county is a member. That's just based on the change that East Central made to their bylaws. So we're aligning with those. Page 40 of the rules, page 44 of your packet. International Trade, Business, and Economic Development Council no longer exists. That's been dissolved by WCA resolution. That's it for me.
Todd, could you go back to, you were in the middle of going over at page 33 of the packet. There was an interruption, you never finished that one?
Was that the Administrative Services Committee portion, Simeon? I'm sorry. I may have lost my place at one point. That was the.
Yeah, administrative services.
So this was just cleanup language regarding Department of Administration. So organizationally, those used to be standalone departments that are now part of Department of Administration. So we changed that language just to be the department rather than calling all of them out individually. If I didn't already, the Land and Water Committee on page 32 of the rules, page 36 of the packet. That was a statute change, so we had to change the makeup, engaged in an agricultural use as defined under the state statute.
All right. That is what we have for the Rules of County Board. Is there any discussion before we vote? So we will be voting on the Rules of County Board as amended. Seeing no other requests to speak, please vote your ballot. Motion carries 20 ayes, 0 nay, 1 vacant. You now have your adopted rules of order. All right, get back to my agenda here. So the meeting is officially called to order. Appointing of ballot clerks will be Kimberly and Todd. And then just to explain for the new members, the election of the chair, vice chair, and second vice chair are done by secret ballot. There's a secret nominating ballot followed by formal ballots until a majority vote of the members present elects such officers. So only persons named on a nominating ballot shall be considered during a formal ballot, and any ballot cast in violation of this rule shall be considered void. Each position shall be voted by separate ballot, and each nominee may speak for 3 minutes. So the first nomination is for chair. It would be your nominating ballot, and do not put your names on these are secret. You're gonna go collect them once they're the nominating ballots. It's the nominating ballot. All right, I've got 7 nominations for chair. We have Supervisors Booty, Connors, Stuckman, Steer, Hofberger, Dietrich, and Schwallenberg. And we do allow 3 minutes for each candidate to speak. So I'm going to start with Supervisor Booty.
Thank you very much to whomever nominated me. I really appreciate that. I have, however, been serving as the vice chair of the Wisconsin County Highway Association, and that is also why I was not able to be at our meeting last term or last month. And so therefore, because I may miss a few meetings and do not want to have such a possibility of missing county board meetings as chair, I am going to regretfully decline that nomination, but thank you very much for the nomination, and feel free to nominate me for vice chair or second vice chair. I'd gladly serve in those positions. Thanks.
Thank you, Supervisor Booty. Supervisor Connors.
I've been serving as your prior chair. I guess I would just encourage you to vote for me again, as I belong to many, many organizations as chair, including the Wisconsin Counties Association, where I sit on the board of directors and the executive committee, East Central, workforce development. It isn't only the idea of just being the county board chair and running the county board. It's a lot more involved in that. I put in about 30 to 35 hours a week as your chair, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Connors. Supervisor Stuckman.
I did not pay for that vote, whoever voted, so just make sure we're on the same page with that. I'm same with Matthew Booty. I'm going to have to decline that nomination just because now at the 6 o'clock meetings, I'm going to have a hard time getting here for majority of the year due to some prior conflicts. So not knowing that I will be here for every meeting, we'll have to decline. Thanks.
Thank you. Supervisor Steer.
Thank you. I appreciate whoever put my name on the ballot. However, I also am going to decline at this time. I would appreciate vice chair or second vice, but chair, I will. Alice lives 5 minutes away. It's hard to, for those of us that live 35 minutes or whatever. So, thank you, though.
Thank you. Supervisor Hofberger.
Thank you for whoever nominated me, but I have watched our current chair for a number of years now, and she does a lot of work. And you know what? I'm not willing to do that much work right now. I mean, it's serious. I think some folks think that the chair of the county board chairs the meeting. I think that's the least important and least bothersome of the job. I've watched her, and she does a lot of stuff that I think a lot of folks, including myself, couldn't do. Thank you.
Supervisor Dietrich.
It sound like a broken record here, fellow supervisors, but I also would love to be vice chair or second vice chair, but I do not have the time to devote that Supervisor Connors has and gives to this county. And I'm going to step back, and we probably won't even have to have a vote unless my partner here wants to stay in the running.
Thank you. Supervisor Schwallenberg.
Nothing like putting a person on the spot. I also appreciate whoever put my name in. I presently serve as vice chair, or I did serve as vice chair, and would like to do that again, so I graciously decline the nomination.
All right. So we have Supervisor Connors, to vote for chair. Please vote your secret ballot.
The formal one, the green one?
Yes, your formal ballot, which is green.
Why bother? Chair, I mean, Chair. I think it's time for a break.
We might need a recount on this.
Oh, jeez.
They only have one to vote for, so. Congratulations, Supervisor Connors, you are chair. If anybody would like to take a quick break while we set up again, feel free. Bathrooms are straight across.
I'm gonna take a little walk.
I think I better do.
Need help? I got
Yeah, I was talking to Chad. And I was bored.
Did you get all your emotions through that you wanted to try to change?
Just that one.
Oh, okay. But it's
There's so many that, yeah, one of the rules meetings, webinars that Andy Phillips had said that recommended that you do that. So,
So we're gonna do minutes? Oh, agenda. That's the flying time.
Okay, welcome back. I just want to thank you for your continued support as chair. I also want to welcome our new supervisors to this great Calumet County. And I look forward to working with all of you, the entire board, for consensus issues and decisions that will face our 24-26 board as we strive to follow our strategic plan. So moving on, we will now have an election for the
no.
first vice chair. We'll have approval of the agenda. You all received that, so please vote your ballot.
That's not, oh. I didn't know we had a motion.
All right, we have Buzz, would you vote, please?
He's not here.
Oh, here he comes.
Here he comes.
He's coming.
The agenda.
Thank you. We have 20 yes, 0 nay, 0 abstain, and 1 absent, so the agenda has been approved. For you who have been here, the approval of the minutes, I have a motion by Supervisor Diedrich and a second by Supervisor Schwallenberg. Were there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, please vote your ballot. All right, we have 17 yes, 3 abstain, and 1 absent, so they have been approved. All right, moving on to item number 10, election of vice chair for a 2-year term. And again, you have your orange ballot, your nominating ballot, and your voting ballot. And I need to get some ballots. All right, thank you.
They weren't here. They weren't here, so.
That's why I was commenting on that.
Yeah, actually, all the new ones should have been abstained, yeah.
This is for the first vice chair.
We don't know who it is, but it's vice chair, right?
Oh, yeah.
Greenwood.
I would think so, yeah.
All right, on the nominating committee, on the nominating of a ballot, we have Mary Schwallenberg, Pete Steer, Matthew Booty, Joan Haltschu, Ron Diedrich, and Mike Huffsberger. We'll now use your, all right, we'll speak. Mary?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I served as first vice chair in the previous last 2 years. I'm on, excuse me, but I have to read this. I'm on the Claims Advisory Committee for County Mutual, which is the county's insurance company. I served on the board of directors for Group Health Trust, which was our former health insurance. I'm a member of WCA, which is the acronym for Wisconsin Counties Association, Health and Human Services, and Personnel and Finance and County Organizational Steering Committees. I also served on the planning committee for the WCA conference, and I was a presenter once at one of the conferences. I've served as co-president for WALDAB, which is the Wisconsin Association of Local Health Departments and Boards, twice, and I'm in my last term. It's a 3-year term, as Matthew can say, as you go elect, present, and then past. I'm also serving on a NACO, which is the National Association of Counties Human Services and Education Steering Committee. I travel and accompany Alice a lot with her meetings to the board of directors for WCA and other meetings that she go to, and I would be honored if you would support me for the position of first vice chair. Thank you.
Supervisor Steer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the nomination, and yes, I would accept it. I would appreciate any votes. I'm a veteran, like several others here. Belong to the American Legion and several other agencies. Thank you.
Supervisor Booty?
Thank you very much for the nomination, folks. I don't think you could go wrong with electing any of us who have been nominated here. So I'll just go ahead and say, you know, I've also been serving here on the county board for 14 years. Currently serve also as vice chair of the Wisconsin County Highway Association. Like Mary explained, it is a 3-year track, so in June I'll become the chair of the organization, and then next June vice chair. I've got experience serving on the Highway Committee, the Planning, Zoning, Farmland Preservation Committee, the Land Information Commission. Once upon a time, served on the Committee for the Rules of Order, on ITBEC, and on, when we had it, the Legislative Services Committee. I also had done one term on the Aging and Disability Resources Committee. I'm also involved with the Wisconsin Counties Association, serving on the Steering Committee for Public Works and Transportation. So thank you all very much again for the nomination. Elected chair, of course, I would do my best to assist the, if elected vice chair, I would do my best to assist the chair as necessary and to serve the board as deemed necessary. So thank you all very much.
Supervisor Diedrich?
Thank you for the nomination. As I said earlier, I would like to be vice chair. All the people that were nominated are fully qualified. So the 20 of us have a tough decision, and I hope you vote for me.
Thank you. Supervisor Haltschu?
I've only been on the board, this is my 2nd term. However, I would appreciate being elected vice chair so that I might get some experience like all the others who have been here many years. And I would appreciate any votes you would give me. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Haltschu. Supervisor Huffsberger?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm currently Chair of Planning and Zoning and Land and Water, and I probably could tell you some nice things about me, but you might know my wife, and so I'd be negated anyway. Thanks, whoever nominated me. And those of you that have been around, you know me, and those that don't, well, you don't, but I'll let it go at that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, then please, your secret formal ballot will be for Schwallenberg, Steer, Booty, Hufsberger, Diedrich, and Halshu. That's first vice chair. All right. Who else?
That's it, if the lowest one drops off.
All right.
If you don't get a simple majority, the lowest person drops off, and then you go back and vote for the remaining.
Okay.
So we still have everybody but Mike.
Okay.
So it's.
All right.
The lowest vote getter drops off.
The lowest voter gets a drop off, so that would be Mike Hufsberger. So the other ones are Mary Schwallenberg, Pete Steer, Matthew Booty, and Joan Halshu, excuse me.
Joan?
Okay. Be sure you get them in the right spot.
I will double check.
Who?
Pete.
Pete. All right. Will be Mary Schwallenberg, Matthew Booty, and Joan Halshu. And Ron Diedrich drops off.
Nope.
Oh, excuse me,
Pete drops off.
excuse me.
So the remaining on the ballot are
All right.
Joan,
Pete drops off, so we have Joan Halshu,
Ron Diedrich,
Ron Diedrich,
Matthew Booty.
Matthew Booty, and Mary Schwallenberg. Thank you. the longer legs, I'm just saying. Doesn't help. And the no heels. All right. All right, we're down to 3 people. Joan has dropped off, so we have Mary Schwallenberg, Matthew Booty, and Ron Diedrich. Same group. We will vote again for Mary Schwallenberg, Matthew Booty, and Ron Diedrich. All 3. This could take another hour or 2. We will revote again. It was a tie ballot between Mary Schwallenberg and Ron Diedrich. Ron Diedrich has been voted for the first vice chair. Okay, so now we will vote for a second vice chair. Nomination of your ballot.
I gotta grab all these.
We have Pete Steer,
All right, who we have?
Pete Steer,
Pete Steer,
Matthew Woody,
Matthew.
Mary, Joan, Mike.
All right, on your secret ballot, we have Pete Steer, Matthew Booty, Mary Schwallenberg, Joan Halshu, and Mike Hufsberger. Do we need them repeated? Pete Steer, Matthew Booty, Mary Schwallenberg, Joan Halshu, and Mike Hufsberger. We have Pete Steer drops off, so we have Matthew, Mary, Joan, and Mike. All right, we have another balloting to do. Matthew Booty and Mary Schwallenberg. Joan and Mike have dropped off. Give me
My
this
last
here,
opportunity.
so I don't get messed up. Right. Matthew Booty has been selected as second vice chair. Okay, moving on. Are there any communications?
I have no communications.
All right. Public participation. Is anybody signed up down there? No? All right, thank you. Resolutions. Resolution 2024-02.
Resolution authorizing grant application for the Stockbridge Boat Harbor sidewalk replacement introduced by the Parks Commission.
All right. I need a motion, Supervisor Voigt, and a second by Supervisor Diedrich. And Supervisor Schwallenberg, would you speak to this resolution?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is strictly maintenance. There's an issue with the separation of the concrete. People are tripping over it, could possibly have an injury, so it's something that we need to do.
Okay, are there any questions regarding this resolution? Please vote your ballot. We have 20 yes, 0 nay, 0 abstain, 1 absent, so that resolution has been adopted. Moving on to Resolution 2024-03.
Resolution to allow a donation to purchase 2 turtle displays at Ledgeview Nature Center introduced by the Parks Commission.
All right, I have a motion by Supervisor Voigt and a second by Supervisor Cleveland. And Supervisor Schwallenberg, would you speak to this resolution?
Yes, we would like to thank the Camford Memorial Fund for this generous donation to us. There are very few, and if I remember correctly, only one company that makes these displays. It will be quite large, and to separate our turtles, to move them, I believe, into the rest of the display room. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions regarding this resolution? If not, please vote your ballot. We have 20 yes, 0 nay, 0 abstain, 1 absent. All right, supervisor reports. Anyone that has any reports to talk about, please? Supervisor Steer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, Joe Miller and I went to Harrison, and they had the discussion on the trail, and they just showed out they didn't do a presentation. What they did is they had the map all the way down a couple tables, and it asked people that came from the area to put where they lived on the house. So they're still determining the direction. It will not be going down Fire Lane 12, if you know anyone down there. And it was very good. They just, good demonstration of what's going there. So. Thank you.
Okay, Supervisor Schwallenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and bear with me, please. The NACO Steering Committee reported that there is going to be funding for runaway and homeless youth programs. The USDA has finalized updates to SNAP for the WIC program, which is the Women, Infants, and Children, which will increase the amount of fresh fruit and vegetables. Right now, children up to the age 9 get $25 a month. No, I'm sorry, no. $25 a month for pregnant and postpartum women. That will increase from 12 to 44. The children will increase from $9 to $25 for fruit and vegetables. There's a targeted safety support fund to reduce trauma to children by keeping them with families together. The Biden administration has released initial details to provide relief for student debt, I'm sure you're all aware of. WALDAB, we had a board meeting. There's been a group, the Reedy Group, that they have been paid there. You will hear this a lot about foundational public health. They're looking at the cost and capacity assessments for public health systems. Wisconsin COVID-19 treatment program has ended as of April 10th. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline will go to geo-routing versus it would be area codes. They will not be very specific and hone on to the actual address of the person calling. It will be just generalized because of privacy issues. Human Services, we returned $400,000 to reserve funds, and we looked at a rough plan for the second floor remodeling, which will be done for Human Services, and Public Health will take over all of the second floor. Parks. We have, we okayed the preliminary money for preliminary rendering and cost estimates for the Ledgeview Nature Center building. We have been looking at that for several years now. If you've ever been out there, one of the buildings was an open air pavilion that was enclosed and has many issues with it. So we're looking at a plan to remodel that whole area, the classroom area. We're going to put a camera down at Brothertown Harbor, which is going to rotate. There's one at County Harbor, which does not, so that the fishermen can check the water quality, the waves, and the ice flows that come in the springtime. If you go down there, and you may have heard comments about the mowing that's going on, these are the areas where the ash trees were removed several years ago. And now the ash trees have started to sprout, plus there's buckthorn, and we're mowing it, and then it will be treated, and then there will be new trees planted in that area. Right now it looks pretty rough. We've got a future ash tree harvest that we've been working on that one for several years too on the northern property. The logger couldn't get in unless the ground was frozen, and we've had issues with that over the years, so they're going to come in from, I believe it's Ferry Springs. We've had a partnership with the town of Stockbridge. I think we're going to do a roundabout there, and the logging will come off of that northern end. The plan is to put some primitive tent sites down there that you're going to have to walk into. Our cabin should be ready for summer camping, hopefully. These cabins are unusual compared to other campgrounds because they are both handicapped accessible. We wanted the handicapped individuals to be able to enjoy the camping like anybody else. And that is what has been holding us up. I've reported on that for a long time. Our south end bathroom is coming along. And the electrical installation at Ledgeview, there's going to be a fan put in at one of the caves. Can't remember which one. Sorry for all my wordiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Schwallenberg. Supervisor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to advise the new supervisors board that our meetings are not usually that cumbersome or as this one was, the organizational meeting. It has to do primarily with organizing and people making amendments to amendments. That's what's tripped it. It happened 2 years ago. It happened this year. Hopefully it won't happen in 2 years. But anyway, our meetings are normally crisper than what you saw this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Just like to report on my trip with Wisconsin County Highway Association and the Wisconsin Transportation Development Association. We traveled to Washington, D.C. last month, which is why I was not here at the meeting. And there we met with our senators and our House representatives and their staffs. We also had a conversation with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation's very own Secretary Craig Thompson, who is also this year the president of the American Association of State Highway Transportation Officials. We also had meetings with various other stakeholders and organizations who are interested in lobbying for increased funding and awareness of the transportation needs that we have. So thank you all very much.
I just wanted to thank Beth for bringing us through that. I know you had a lot to do. Appreciate it.
All right. I just have a couple of announcements. On April, hang on here. On April 25th, which will be next Thursday, there will be a Wisconsin Counties Association district meeting held at the Hilton Apple Valley Hotel in Appleton from 3 to 5. Dinner will be provided by those who attend. This is a meeting where we get an update on what's happening at WCA, a legislative update. They also will be voting on 2 members to go on to the WCA board, which is from our district, which includes Calumet, Outagamie, Winnebago, Dorr, Sheboygan, and also 1 member to the county mutual. They ask that you register 30 minutes ahead of time to give them a count for the dinner. If you wish to attend, your per diem will be paid for. If you need any more questions, let me know, and we'll take care of it through our county clerk's office, and that should be soon. All right, the other one is the Wisconsin Counties County Official Workshop, which they call COWS. This is for newly elected officials to learn about best practices and how to avoid the pitfalls of governance. It's a very interesting seminar. It's from 8:30 to 3:30. And the closest one for us would be the Rock Garden Conference Center at Green Bay. This would be May 15th. You will have to register for that, and we would assume we would have registration by the end of April to the clerk's office. Also, you would be paid per diem for this. There is a virtual option. However, you would have to attend all 3, which would be June 3rd, June 10th, June 17th, from 8:30 to 10:20. Now, I can have this email sent out to you. For your new members, it will come under Wisconsin Counties Association. And I suggest that you check your iPads daily for those type of announcements that come out from there.
Are you allowing only new members to go to that?
No, new members and old members, second term members, if you feel you want to go, you may go. I know some of you went last year, and if you didn't and want to go this year, you can go this year. So that's all I have for that. All right, you had the county administrator's report on your iPad. Was there any questions regarding his report? If not, we'll move on. Our next regular meeting will be May 21st at 6 o'clock. 6 p.m. All right. We're going to adjourn this meeting until 3 p.m. To allow the chair, the first and second vice chairs, to look at the committee assignments. Now, we will come back at 3 p.m. However, if you do not want to come back, you may do it virtually, and your information is on the back of your agenda. You can call those numbers and check in if you don't want to come back in. However, this is one meeting and one per diem.
We're gonna email invitations
And
to everybody.
all your assignments will be emailed to you prior to that time, correct?
She means we're gonna email them an invitation for the meeting so they can log on.
All right, all right. We will email you the invitation to the meeting so you can log on, okay? So watch for that coming out of the clerk's office. Are there any questions? If you can't make it, please let us know. Any questions regarding that?
Can you ask if there's anybody not attending?
Is there anybody not going to attend at 3 o'clock? Anybody not attending at 3 o'clock?
I should be able to, but it'd be virtual and I'd have to get on and get off.
All right, okay.
But I told you about that.
Yes, yes, I understand. All right, anybody else? We have to have a quorum, so just let me know, all right? Thank you. And now, I would like to have, before I adjourn, postpone our adjourn to 3 o'clock, I would like to have Ron and Matthew and myself, we will go to the administrator's office and work on assignments, so. You can go have lunch, go home, do whatever you wanna, and if you can't be back at 3, please sign on.